Welcome to Exo Fleet's Insights, where every mile counts. The podcast where fleet data turns into real-world decisions. Each episode, we unpack what's really happening across mixed fleets, fuels, and sites, and how better insights leads to better performance, lower costs, and fewer surprises on the road. So let's get into it.
I've worked in so many different projects with different agencies, and a common theme is that you have teams that are typically working in silos. So, you have dispatch and vehicle operations and facilities. And one of the challenges that particularly battery electric vehicles present to that operating environment is with a battery electric bus, now you have kind of pieces. So, you have a charger that has to do its job to fuel the bus, and the bus has to be ready with the right amount of energy to do what the dispatch team and vehicle ops ultimately want it to do. So you have all these different pieces that need to come together. And oftentimes, you have folks like yourself and your team, which is a small part of the overall VBTA organization, tasked with doing this work, also needing to bring up the rest of the organization to scratch on just the knowledge and understanding of how these new systems work. So one of the kind of intangible benefits that we've been happy to see through the product is that you do bring the information together. We kind of distill it down into what we think is relevant or simple for the teams that need to know. And by virtue of that, it brings everybody up to scratch and on the same page. And that's really important going back to when you have this interdependent fueling system. If facilities has a breaker that's tripped on a charging station, it's now no longer just a facility's problem. It's a dispatch problem. So, that really goes back to the beginning of why we decided to set ZeroMission to work into problems like that. And it's really exciting to hear that your team is experiencing that benefit.
And one of the early conversations that you and I had was about, our range anxiety. And, once we started having more problems, so range anxiety has always been an issue, but once we started having a lot of battery pack problems and string loss issues, that's when range anxiety ramped up to a ridiculous degree. I mean, we're talking drivers and dispatchers are nervous at 60% SOC. 60-50%, and they're like, we got to get this bus back in. Especially because, it's so hard to teach them on the telematics side. Oh, well, you log into this system, you log into that system. Oh, in order to check this, you go there. So now we just have them, boom, you're in ZeroMission. You see everything that we're seeing. We're all seeing the same information. It's all there. And that's certainly helped us out with our range anxiety, not just from a driver perspective, because they see it. They're looking at the SOC all day, every day, but the dispatchers are now looking at it and they're going, well, yeah, we're at 60%. We're fine until here, and then 30%. Okay, well, it's the nature of the battery electric bus piece, 78% of our blocks are over 150, 160 miles. So we do have to look at switching buses out if it's on something that's going to get to the end of the range. But it certainly helps them with planning. So we're seeing less towing. It's certainly helping us with our dispatch range anxiety of, hey, maintenance, we need to get this bus out of here. And the maintenance is going, why? You're only at 50%. So those conversations are definitely dwindling and not happening.
If anything you heard today reflects the challenges you're facing in your fleet, get in touch with us today at Exo Fleets. We're always happy to talk through real-world solutions. exofleets.com